Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and I am pleased to be joined by Gene Rowley from JumpMaster Press. Gene, thank you so much for being here.
Jonathan, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. I love these interviews you do.
So I want to start with talking about how did you and Kyle come up with the idea for JumpMaster Press?
That's an easy one. Kyle was working on his third novel, and I was working on my first novel, and he had actually been with several other publishers that weren't treating him very well. So when he and I got together, I was like, hey, tell me what your other publishers did. We'll make a list of those things and not do any of them. And that's how we started JumpMaster Press.
And he told me when I interviewed him what his role in the company was. So what is your role within the company?
So I'm the president of JumpMaster Press. I run the day-to-day operations, and I don't do a lot on the book side. He's our editor-in-chief, he's our vice president. He does a lot of that. I work mostly on the graphics side. I run the business. I interview and hire people. I also have to sometimes fire people. But we have very distinct roles within JumpMaster Press.
So at JumpMaster Press, you don't just do just science fiction or fantasy. You kind of do a lot of different genres.
Right.
And I want to talk a minute about your blackspine books, where you have kind of the black paper but the white lettering. How did you guys come up with that idea?
So one of the things at JumpMaster Press we do is innovate new products. We have our ebook product, our trademarked audiobook product. We're always looking for new ways to reach readers, listeners, people who want to experience the written word or hear it, for that matter. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we stumbled upon was a book that was actually put out by a company in Norway. And it was the black paper with the white text. And I thought, it'd be a lot of fun to bring back the classics in this dark mode in real life format. And that's really what it is. We call them blackspine books. We import the paper from Italy. We have a special printer that embosses the white text onto the page. If you run your finger down the page, you actually feel the lettering. So it's not a traditional print process. And they've gone great gangbusters. I mean, we started out with Dracula, we started out with Frankenstein, then we did Edgar Allan Poe, and we've now expanded to about 16 titles. We're doing one new title every month for 2025. We have Charles Dickens coming. We have Edgar Rice Burroughs collections coming in boxed sets. It's a really, really fun product. And when we started it, we thought, we'll just do a couple of them. And people loved it so much, we were like, we're going to expand all the great classics. And so we built it so that when you put it on your bookshelf, all of the spines line up.
Oh, nice.
And it looks very classic on the bookshelf.
So you mentioned that one of the first ones you did was Dracula, and I know that you guys are connected with Dacre Stoker, who is a family member of Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula. How did you guys get connected with Dacre?
So when we started Dracula, one of the other things about the blackspine is that it's a very minimalist design. There's no ads, there's no pictures, there's no nothing. It's just the story and the original story. So when we started doing Dracula, we really wanted to have kind of an air of legitimacy. So we started reaching out to the Bram Stoker estate, and it just so happened that we were at a convention, and Dacre Stoker was there, and so I walked over with a copy of the book. I showed it to him. I sat down and talked with him, and I said, what do you think? And his eyes got wide, and he said, Bram Stoker described Dracula as the man in black. He always wore black. And when Dacre saw that, he immediately went to that line in the book of Dracula, and he just fell in love with the product. And we started working together, and now we're friends, which is a benefit of it. But he's a really nice guy. He wrote the prequel. He wrote the prequel to Dracula, the official, and the official sequel to Dracula, Dracula and Dracula Undead, using Bram Stoker's original notes. He did all this research, and he travels the world. He's an international best-selling author, and that's how we met. And now he loves the Blackspine collection, especially Dracula, for obvious reasons. But yeah, definitely check out Dacre Stoker. He's one of JumpMaster Press's family members, and we love him to death.
So you don't just do classics, you also do other genres. Mm-hmm. We learned that you guys also do cozy mysteries as well. How did you guys get involved with cozy mysteries?
Well, one of the things is JumpMaster Press isn't a pigeonhole. We want to do a lot of different genres. Mm-hmm. The only thing we don't publish is erotica or anything with overt sexual content or language. We want all of our stuff to be family friendly, to a certain extent, like violence, anything you see on television. But we wanted to branch out because our philosophy is when someone comes to our bookstore, and we have a traveling bookstore, we go all around the country, we want to have something for every member of your family who likes to read. Every reader can find something at the JumpMaster Press bookstore. So we have sci-fi, fantasy, which is our major markets, but we also have, like you say, cozy mysteries. We have westerns, we have young adult, we have middle grade, we have children's books. And when we started branching out into these other genres, we were looking for specific authors, not only who are great writers, who really knew their craft within their genre, but specifically ones that have had issues with other publishers. Because, they say money can't buy happiness. I disagree. If I gave you $5 million, you'd be pretty happy. I believe money can't buy loyalty. So when you take care of authors and give them an opportunity, they're going to be very loyal to you. Mm-hmm. And these authors come back with a second book and a third book, and now I've got 3 cozy mysteries by the same author. She also, Dale Kesterson, also comes to a lot of our conventions, and she meets our fans, she makes new fans, and she travels the country with us, selling her cozy mysteries as well as the rest of the bookstores. So it's a real benefit to have all these different genres, but the mystery genre specifically, because people love a good mystery.
So I know you mentioned that you have the YouTube channel for your audiobooks. You do it a little differently than most publishers do it. How does that work for people who are interested?
We do it differently. So we have our own audiobook product. It's the Jump Card. You can find it on our website, JumpMasterPress.com. But we also, again, the mentality of doing things differently than other publishers. We have our own traveling bookstore, but we also have something where people can experience our books in audiobook format for free. So we put our audiobooks on our YouTube channel. Just search JumpMaster Press on YouTube, and you'll find all of our audiobooks. And when a new one is produced, we have a corral of voice actors, stage actors, screen actors, and they do them for this. And then we put them on YouTube. Now, you do have an ad. Okay, so you'll have an ad about every chapter break. So about every 12 to 15 minutes, you'll get an ad, 1 or 2 ads, skip them and go on. And that's how we do it. And that's just another avenue for readers to find more JumpMaster Press authors, to find the genres that they love. And then it also helps the author because from a revenue perspective, a little bit of that ad money goes to the company, goes to the authors and things like that. So it's an expansion mentality.
I find that very interesting personally because for people who are interested in audiobooks but don't want to have to pay like Audible prices or something, this is a way for your company to still make money from it, people to try it out, and also a little bit of, because you have ads every chapter, there's an element of if the author's hooking the reader, the author will make more money from it because they're going to keep going with it, and if they're not, you're only, you're still making something from the beginning.
Yeah. Now, we're not anti-Audible. All of our audiobooks are on Audible, and if you're a paid member, you can go and listen to those for your credits. You can also download or buy them from Audible, but the easy thing to do is just go to YouTube and type in JumpMaster Press, and there's a whole laundry list of different genres for you to listen to. Just pick the one you want and go for it.
But you also write books yourself. You don't just publish them, you also personally write them. I want to talk about a couple of those. One is your book Sleeper. What is the pitch for that book?
That's easy. It's Lord of the Rings with Vikings. I wanted to write an epic fantasy, and I don't know if I've succeeded. I'll let the readers tell me if I've succeeded. But I wanted it to feel like a long journey. And I'm a very technical writer. I started out in science fiction. I have a degree in science and in physics, and I'm a very technical writer. So when I was branching out into fantasy and some others, like thriller and some other different titles, I write very technically. So I did a lot of research into Viking mythology, into Norse culture, what plants they ate, how they lived, what tools they used, what words they used. So when you open up this fantasy, there are no dragons. I'll tell you right now, there are no hobbits. It's an adventure story based in a Norse setting, in a Norse location. But I don't tell you a whole lot about it. So it could be 10,000 years in the past, it could be 10,000 years in the future. I don't really tell you about it. But the story itself is an epic adventure. And it's actually, the name of it, Sleeper, is actually a twist on Sleeping Beauty. I took the basic story of Sleeping Beauty, twisted it all around, put it in a Viking setting, and then wrote a hero's journey. And I was experimenting at the time. I was experimenting with the hero's journey. If you're familiar with Campbell's, Hero with a Thousand Faces, I really love that aspect of writing, but I also wanted to write an anti-hero. Like I was really experimenting and stretching my legs, and it turned out to be my bestseller. So I think I did okay.
Yeah. You also wrote the novel Obliteration Protocol. What's the pitch for that one?
So I love Robert Langdon. I love the character of Robert Langdon. I love, Dan Brown created this character that goes from many books, right? Mm-hmm. From the Da Vinci Code, goes on to the different books that Robert Langdon's in. And I wanted to write a character that continued. This individual stories, but I had this character that continued. And his name's David Blake. So David Blake is my Robert Langdon. And Obliteration Protocol is actually the first one of those. But it also is a twist. And again, people are going to be like, this guy's all over the place. And I am. I'm really all over the place. Because from a technical perspective, again, technical writer, I dug into genetics. And I dug into DNA and how the strands of DNA were created. And I actually figured out, and I think this is original. I think it is, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. I figured out that you could take the A, T, C, G, the 4 proteins in a DNA molecule, and as they're written into the double helix, which makes you, and me. I figured out that you could actually turn them into a binary code. And from a binary code, I could then turn them into a pictogram where a 1 is a black dot and a 0 is a white dot. Mm-hmm. And from there, I turned them into Proto-Hebrew, which is one of the original languages of our entire planet, which is not modern-day Hebrew, but a Proto-Hebrew with the pictograms, because that's what they used. And I wrote an entire story about them finding, by accident, of course, a message or a piece of a message or what they think is a message or at least a pictogram hidden inside human DNA. And then the story just takes off from there.
Oh, man, that's so interesting. Did you have to do like a lot of research?
Tons of research. Yeah. Tons of research. For example, I know that human beings are not the most genetically advanced animal on this planet. It's actually something called a water flea. It's a microscopic organism that has way more genetic material in its DNA than we do.
Interesting.
Yeah. The second most genetically, I want to say advanced, but genetically complex organism on planet is actually a Japanese flower.
Really?
Yeah. It's some of the, I love research, so part of the fun of being a writer is doing all the research.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about what JumpMaster Press has coming up in the next year or so, and also what conventions you guys might be going to?
Yeah, all of our conventions you can go find on our website, JumpMasterPress.com. Just scroll to the bottom, there's an events page you can go, and that's updated regularly. But we are all over the place. We're going to be in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're going to be in Little Rock, Arkansas. We bring authors to all of these shows. So if you want to join us in one of these shows, if you're in one of those countries, one of those states, and we're in your area, just come and you'll meet Kyle, myself, and several of our other authors. But again, it's all on the website. And we have more next year. We're growing and expanding, where we have plans for LibertyCon next year.
Great.
So, from a release perspective, we have some great books coming out. We have returning authors coming back with their second and third book in their series. We have new young authors coming forward. We have a new children's book, expanding our children's series coming out. And names that you know. I can't really say any now, but if you're a Star Trek fan, if you're, one of the major characters in Star Trek, Next Generation and in Picard, is one of their family members is actually coming out with a book with JumpMaster Press. So we have a lot of things coming in the future. More audiobooks, more YouTube expansion. We're actually working with several other publishers to kind of see where we can cross-pollinate. So there's a lot coming.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming on the channel.
Jonathan, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.